All right, guys, let's take a look at how to create a CMA super quick and easily and actually come with an awesome presentation to help you win some listings. So here we are just in our MLS. Depending on where you're located, your MLS might look a little bit different, but the concept should be the same. We're going to use the MLS and we're going to go to search. Now I've pulled up a property just on Zillow, just an example property that we can use to run comps on and see if this is priced right, essentially. So here's this home we found. It's a 22,221 square foot. So let's go over here to the square foot section, and we're gonna go, plus or minus about 10%. Now this is where we're gonna start getting a little bit creative, depending on what kind of results we get. Year built 2007. Let's go 2002 to 2012. Okay. Let's go ahead and add in some canceled, some expired, some pending, some closed. This 0 to 90 essentially means in the last 90 days. Does it have a pool? No pool, it doesn't look like. Okay, so we're gonna go down here to pool and click no. And then we're actually just gonna do a map search. I like doing the map. Some people like, different ways of doing it, but that's just my preference. Let's look at the map where this home is located. And we're gonna go over here to our map and just find the same place. So it's right here, this neighborhood right here, okay? And it looks like maybe let's just pull this neighborhood right here. All right, so there we have it. We only got one sold, lots of actives. So we're gonna have to go back in time a little bit more. Let's jump this out to 180. Let's give this a little extra. Let's just square it off at 2,000. Give it an extra 50. Does that give us any more results? Yeah, we got some more sales. That actually helped a lot. So with that, we'll click on results. And now we have some good results here. And we kind of want to remove the outliers unless this is an amazing property that matches the outliers. And what I mean by that is, look at this one. This one, if you sort the right price, got 380s, high threes, low fours, and then we got a couple that are pretty high up there. So let's look at this one that sold for, listed at 450, sold for 530. Chances are it's really nice. It doesn't really qualify as a comp. And we've got an updated kitchen. Let's take a look at bathroom. Actually, it's not that updated. But it's a 3-car garage. A little pergola action. Outdoor kitchen. It's pretty nice, and chances are it's way nicer than this one. Okay, so let's look at this one. Yeah, the flooring, kitchen's not updated. Backyard's pretty plain. No outdoor kitchen. So I'm actually just going to remove this one. Also go back to agent single page or agent single line. We're gonna select all, but we're not going to select that one. It's just too crazy. Let's look at this one too. That's the other really high price one. This was also a 3-car garage. It's under contract. Went under contract really fast. Nice covered patio. Oh, really nice flooring. Good colors. Check out the kitchen. That's nice. The office is nice. Bathroom's been updated. Kitchen's been updated. Yeah, so I'd probably actually remove this one too, honestly. Agent single line, let's remove that one too. Now we have more of a constraint between 380 and 450. All right, we're getting a little closer. So with those selected, we've got 5 actives and 4 closed. That's pretty good. We're gonna click Cloud CMA. All right, so Cloud CMA, we're gonna name this new client. I don't have their name, so we're not gonna enter it. And we're gonna enter the address of the property. We go to 325 Torrey Trail. I'm just going to kind of pull it up. It's going to populate some of the information, but you can go ahead and grab the other information if you know it. I don't even know if that's correct, but that's not that important. You can add a cover photo if you have one. It'll make it look a little nicer, and then hit fetch listings. And this is going to start that CMA essentially. Now set price, we're gonna get to that in just a second. Let's go ahead and skip that for now. And I'm gonna customize our reports that show you what you can do with Cloud CMA to really make it look cool. If you go to customize report, you have all these options on the left. I mean, look at all this stuff. There's so much stuff over here. So I encourage you to click on everything and take a look at what you can edit. See, all this stuff is editable. You can edit your cover letter, your resume, your recent sales, about the company. There's lots of things that are editable. Some things aren't editable. Take a look at what all this stuff is. Anything you add will essentially get added to the listing presentation that this actually creates. And so I have mine pretty basic. That's just the way that I do things, and everyone's got a different style. I have a title page where you can see the property. Without a picture, it shows the map, which I think is fine. Then you've got a map of all the listings, which I like, seeing where the subject property is, along with all the other properties. And then you have the details of each property, so you can see the details of the property, so the consumer can see this. And then I want all of the photos of the property. Comparative market statistics, you can see averages, intelligent pricing and timing. This kind of helps with pricing a property, especially if the market's not appreciating. You really want to price it aggressively. And so this is kind of nice to show the seller, hey, look, if you price above market value, you're not going to get very many eyes on it. If you price at market value, you'll get a lot of eyes on it, and below you get even more eyes on it. And if we're in a depreciating market, you really got to price below the curve, or else you're just going to get priced out as the market continues to drop. And then a seller net sheet. This you can edit. I have mine kind of just showing the commissions, some basic stuff, taxes, just to give them an idea of how much net could cost. But I don't necessarily like to include that because it's not too accurate sometimes. But either way, go through and look at all this stuff you have access to. Really cool. All right, so let's look at how to price the property. So what we're actually going to do is most likely go with the closed homes. Okay, so we've got 4 closed homes. All right, and so let's look at these. So we have, let's start at this 415. Okay, so this $415,000 home was originally listed at 460, went down to 410, and then finally sold 415. So it looks like they finally got a little bit of action by the time they priced it. So we're gonna break the property down, okay? So let's look at our comp home. We have a 22-1 square foot property, 2-car garage. This one is 24-26, 2-car garage. So right off the bat, we see this one is bigger by like 200 square foot. Now, if you scroll all the way down the bottom, we'll see a closed dollar per square foot. Don't use this number. Divide this number in 3. And the reason for that is because there's more to a home than just the dollar per square foot. Every home has 1 kitchen, 1 master bathroom, 1 slab, 1 roof, 1 neighborhood, 1 lot. And so the difference in size of a home is not exactly related to this. And so if you're going to do a change in price based on square footage alone, I actually like to use 1/3. And it can be rounded. And so we're looking at 1/3 of this is about $60 a square foot, times about 200. What's that? $12,000. And so that makes our home worth $12,000 less than this off that one item. So now we're looking at 403. Okay, so we're down to 403. What else do we have that's different? So let's look at where it's located on a map. This is important. This one backs to a main road. That's a huge deal. Ours does not back to a main road. So depending on the main road, a main road, in my opinion, is about 5% deduction. And that's depending on how big a road it is. If it's like a major highway or anything with lots of noise, it could be even more. Power lines, same concept. Big power lines in the back, lower the value. This is where running comps gets kind of complicated. Honestly, there's so many things involved in a home. And the more you take into account, the better pricing you'll get. So this one, if it is backing to a home, and I'm thinking, or backing to a main road. Now I happen to know this road. It's pretty, got a lot of cars, but not a ton of cars. I think 5% might be a little high, maybe 3-4% reduction. So what would that be? 3% would be 12 grand, right? And so that's almost a wash. Now we're back to 415. Okay, so let's look at our pictures. This one has a front porch. Ours has not much of a front porch. I'm actually gonna give this one another 5K. So now we're gonna, every time this home is nicer, we're gonna subtract from that number as far as what this is worth. So we're at 415. Now we're down to 410. They got a nicer porch. Kitchen. Let's look at our kitchens. Who's got a nicer kitchen and how much nicer is it? Okay. So here we have stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, the wood cabinets, just a different color. Although I like the aesthetics of this one better, it's not actually better in terms of quality, except for maybe the appliances. We might be able to give them, a couple grand for the appliances, but not a whole lot. I mean, this stuff's kind of cheap. 500. I don't even know if I'm not even gonna really adjust for that, honestly. It's not big enough of a. Let's look at what else we got here. The flooring. It's got tile, wood or laminate. Looks like probably laminate everywhere. Tile, carpet in some rooms. The carpet looks kind of worn out. Wood, laminate. Let's look at the flooring in here. We got tile. The tile actually doesn't look as nice either. This looks like original tile. It's just carpet. I'm gonna give a pro to the flooring of this one. Okay, so this one I think the flooring is nicer. For about, I would say half the home is probably nicer flooring. It looks like the downstairs has had their tile updated and the wood floor done. So let's look at how much would it cost to do that. So we have a 2,400 square foot home. Half of it has had the flooring redone. We're looking at 1,200 square foot. This is where you kind of got to know construction costs a little bit. Tile, floor, wood, laminate. I'm going to give it kind of a $3 a square foot for all that. So we're looking at $3,000, maybe $4,000. This one's nicer. We were at 410. Now we're at saying this one's worth 405. All right. So what else we got that's different here? Let's look at anything pop out. Colors in this one, kind of, it's kind of weird colored, right? You got a lot of blues and beiges are nice, but some people don't like these weird colors. They're going to think about how they have to repaint this home. Let's look at this one. Colors of this one, much more neutral. They're not going to have to, they got one pink room. Most of this is pretty neutral. So I'm actually going to give a pro to our subject property in terms of paint. Now, size of the home, 2,400 square foot. How many rooms need to be painted? I would say at least half of them probably someone's going to want to paint. They're looking at maybe a couple bucks a square foot. Now we're at $2,500. We were at what, 405? Now we're saying this one is worth 407.5. Backyard. This backyard fence is freaking falling apart. It just doesn't have a covered patio. Backyard's kind of blah. Doesn't have a brick on the back. Let's look at this one's backyard. Alright. Backyard. Oh wow, they got a covered patio. They got brick in the back. Wow, so that covered patio, honestly, I give it like 10 grand. Brick in the back, 5 grand at least. So 15 grand better than our subject property. We were at 407. Now it puts our subject property at 390, like 3 or 392.5. Then what else we got here? That's really kind of the majority of it, honestly. So off that one comp alone, I'm saying this house is worth 395, give or take. You might be able to get away with 400. That's where pricing comes in. Like if you get a home that you end up coming to value of like 395, you can list it for 400. I like even numbers, 400, 425, 450. As you get lower, keep it in the fives, 205, 210, 215, 220, 225. Once you cross 300, keep it in the tens and fives. So off that one comp alone, this house looks incredibly overpriced. All right. Now, look at how long it's been on the market. Not that long, a month. But either way, it's overpriced, okay, in my opinion, off that one comp. So let's look at the other comps. You can't just go off of one home. You got to look at some others. When was this one sold? This one sold really fairly recently. So that's a good one, good comp. Now let's look at some other ones here. So that was our highest price comp. If you notice, you got all these actives that are overpriced compared to the solds. So you've got, all these homes that are listed higher than these homes sold for. And the reason for that, honestly, is we experienced a market shift lately, and this may not be happening by the time you go to price a home. But the prices were going up, and now they're going down. So now we've got all these homes on the market. They're not going to sell. They have to lower the price until they get to the closed price. So let's look at this next one. This next one was listed at 400, sold for 410. It's a little further away. Let's look and see if we can find one that wasn't so long ago. This one. So this one, a little bit better. Okay. It was listed at 375, sold for 400. And let's look at it. It was smaller, okay? That's a good start. It's 200 square foot smaller. Again, we're looking at dollar per square foot, 200. Divide that by 3, about 65, okay? 65 bucks a square foot. And let's give it 200. That's, 6 times 2, 12,000, maybe 15,000, because it was a little bit more. And just to keep our numbers even, let's start at 415. Okay, now we're saying this one's worth 415 so far based on this comp. And let's look at anything else that's different about it. So front, actually pretty similar in the front, right? We have a very small porch. Looks like a very small porch possibly. Yeah, real similar in the front. So far as a wash. Flooring. All right, we got tile and some sort of either laminate or hardwood going on in here. So far, this one's nicer. Got wood here. Ooh, a nice stone fireplace. Kitchen. Not remodeled, just nice. Crazy about it. But let's keep looking and see what else we got here. Not remodeled bathroom. Some carpet in the bedrooms. They got a covered area in the back. So all right, let's go ahead and keep pricing it, right? So not a whole lot of pictures to go off on this one, unfortunately. Flooring, it looks like they have updated the flooring in some of the house, but not a whole lot of it. But we still want to account for that, okay? So flooring, maybe 500 square foot of flooring that was improved, $1,500. So now we went from 415 down to 413.5. Year built. This one was built in 2011. And when the year built is quite a bit different, you might take that into account. This one is 4 years newer, okay? How much is a 4-year newer home worth? Where art and science come in. There's not really a exact number for this, but this one's worth more because it's newer. How much more? Maybe $5,000, okay? So that means now we went from 413 down to 407, give or take, okay? So we're at 407. And let's look at what else is different. Okay. The stone fireplace. That's a really nice stone fireplace. Now, sometimes you look for things that are special. Okay. This one doesn't even have a fireplace that I see. No fireplace at all. A fireplace from a builder, whenever you buy a home, is about $5,000 for a basic one. A really nice stone one, we're looking at $10,000. Is this fireplace really going to add $10,000 of value to the home? Probably not. There's some things that just aren't that valuable, especially a hot state like Texas where the fireplace isn't that important, but it's really nice. It definitely costs a lot of money. Let's give it half what it costs. Let's give it $5,000. We went from 407, now we're down to 402. Okay. What else? Anything else different, major about this one? What about that covered area? Look at there. We got a covered back porch. There it is. It's right there. It's hard to see what's going on with it. But it is a covered concrete slab area, and like I mentioned earlier, that's worth like $10,000 in my opinion. We were at 407, now we're down to 398. All right, and this one's been enclosed, and that's kind of a personal preference. Some people might like that. It did cost money. It doesn't add value to the home. Maybe it adds a couple grand. So we're down to 395, right? I'm doing the math in my head, so if I'm wrong, make sure you do this on paper. This is not worth anything in my opinion. This looks kind of, just a little pergola in the middle of nowhere. Some people will be like, I want to tear that out. You got a little storage shed. There was something. Are they going to keep it? Are they going to take it? We don't know that, right? They might take it. They got some gardening going on back here. The fence is actually I forgot to account for the fence on the last comp. I talked about it, but this fence looks nicer. The other one needs a new fence. So this home, right, needs a new fence. Fence, maybe $5,000. Now we're down to $390. So we had one comp that said this is worth $395, another one says it's worth $390. You can see how they're kind of converging, right? I feel certain that if we run another comp, we're gonna get a similar result. So let's go ahead and take a look at that one. Let's see, we did that one. Let's do this one. All right, so next runner up. Oh, that was one we just did. This one right here. This one sold for $380. A little bit smaller, a couple hundred square foot smaller. So now we're up to $395. Yeah. Similar front. 5 still. Now here with carpet, same thing, right? The other one had carpet, really similar. Fireplace. The rest of these are worth like $5,000, or they cost about $5,000. So let's drop it down to $390. Carpet, still the same. Carpet. This kitchen has a cheaper countertop. A couple grand. Knock it up to $2. Let's see. Now this has tray ceilings. I don't usually account for these, but just know if you start seeing these a lot, these do cost money. They're like $1,000, but $1,000 here and there, not that big of a deal. We're trying to get a price that's $5,000 to $10,000. Trying to get in that ballpark. Okay, nah, covered. This is not a covered patio. This is just some cheap thing they put on there. So there you go. The third one puts us in the high 390s also. So we got 3 sales, all putting you somewhere between 390 and 400K. What would I price this home at today? I would probably, if I can get them to do some fixes, we can move it to 400. Now, because we're in a depreciating market, we want to make sure it shows amazing. You can do some updates, like, come on guys, like get some new carpet. This carpet's got stains on it. Carpet is the cheapest thing to fix. If I walk into a seller's home and I see stains all over their carpet, I'm gonna get them a carpet guy that can replace all the carpet for like $1 a square foot. It doesn't even look like they live here anymore. So it shouldn't be that much of a deal to replace carpet. You're looking at maybe 1,500 square foot, maybe $2,000 worth of carpet, and that's going to give you $5,000 worth of value. Because people want brand new carpet. So this one, I would probably list it like 390, honestly. At least today, because we're in a depreciating market. If you want it to sell, now if you can't get them to, and they're willing to list it for 400, sure, go for it. Would I list it for 440? Heck no. This listing is probably going to expire. That listing agent is going to get fired. They're not going to make any money, and they spent money and time at this property. So be careful how much you list a home for. If you overprice it, you're going to waste your time. You're going to waste some money. You're going to look like an idiot when it doesn't sell. So price your homes right.